$30.90. Can you build a whiteboard for that? The answer is obviously, because I already have it written on the board. So if we look to purchase a whiteboard from Amazon line, then you'll see we start at a relatively lowish cost. A 3 foot by 4 foot whiteboard, $69.89. Nice. 3 foot by 5 foot whiteboard, $179.95. Got a pretty serious jump there of over $100. 4 foot by 5 foot, which is what we've built here, $346. 4 foot by 8 foot. There's a disparagement in prices here because you have non-magnetic and then magnetic, and so the prices are all over the place. Now ours is not magnetic, but $313.67 all the way up to $493.54. So it only makes sense. I have the ability to, we might as well make our own. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're back. We're gonna get a window covering right here. We're gonna make it out of whiteboard. So put the wife and kids to bed, grab yourself a ginger ale, and let's start making some stuff. Home Despot, the white panel board. Works great for whiteboard applications, $20. If you looked at whiteboards to cover a 3 foot by 4 foot window, they're like $70 to $140. It's ridiculous. So we got our whole 4 foot by 8 foot sheet. I had them cut the 3 feet off the end so it would fit. I have the short 5 foot bed, 6 foot bed, whatever it is. Doesn't quite fit. I had them cut at 5 so it fits. $20. Now, if you were just gonna mount it straight on a wall, you'd be set. I'm suspending mine over a window. So I also got me a piece of 1/2 inch MDF type board. And the MDF boards get expensive. OSB, the lumber right now is still ridiculous. Not as bad as it was last year, still ridiculous though. What I would suggest if you were doing something like this, you know you don't need a whole sheet. I got this out of the damaged scrap bin at Menards, and I paid $15 for it, $14.90, something like that. So yeah, it was like something ridiculous, $28, $32 sheet. And this is a full sheet, full 8 foot sheet, has some damage on the corner. It was a top sheet, so you can see where it was strapped down, but it's not even broken. This is still a full sheet. So got us some liquid nails. Don't know where our liquid nails went to, but we are going to glue this down to this with construction adhesive, cut it to our correct size, come up with a way to hang it, probably just eyelets or hooks, or eyelets and hooks, so I can put hooks on the wall, eyelets. I can put it up when I want the sun to come in, just lift it off. That'd be great. And that's really about it. We'll get, let's get into making this thing. So you see here is I got us 3 pieces of trim so we can make the edge look nice. Just simple MDF trim. Nothing fancy. I think they were $3 a piece. I'll give you an actual breakdown on the board. Now I am going to paint my trim just because we have our blue sky, whatever, gray walls. I have just a granite satin. So we're going to paint our trim. So we have the blue, gray, and then the whiteboard just to give it a little different look. So we got a couple coats of slate sprayed on our trim. I think that'll be a nice little contrast to having the whiteboard with the blue walls. Help it stand out well. Make it, I mean, a big whiteboard is going to be noticeable, obviously. So now we're going to use our We just got the old interior, exterior construction adhesive. I'm gonna, on this guy, put board on it, and then just put weights on it to hold it down. And I'm gonna run to the store, just a little convenience store here, because you know I don't have any dry erase markers. I was at the store, I don't know how I didn't get any markers, but let's get this glued on. So what I've done is I've just simply given myself a line to make sure that I actually get adhesive on the whole piece. Not critical, really. The two are adhered to each other, and then we put trim on the outside edge, that outside corner trim. It'll hold fine, but I don't want to get glue all the way to the edge. I'm not going to cut the board down beforehand. I'm just going to glue the whiteboard to it, and then I'm going to cut it to size. Wasteful, maybe. I might waste a ½ inch, an inch of material. But again, we could buy all these materials 3 times before we even match the price of buying one of these whiteboards. So that's what we're going to do. Throw our adhesive on. Put the whiteboard on it. It's like a hardboard backing. So throw the whiteboard on there. Put a little weight on top. Okay, so we got our board laid out. We got adhesive on it. And what I've done is to the back of our whiteboard, I actually gave it a quick once over with 80. It was just real smooth. I want to make sure it's stuck. Now, I've not had a problem. I've used this before, the power grab stuff. Yeah. I've never had a problem with it not sticking, but figure why not? It takes just a minute. Throw a 80 grit on there and just went down it once just to rough it up a little bit. It was pretty smooth, almost like a hardboard, almost polished. So it'll stick now. So we'll just grab that, throw that on the glue. All right. So I put my whiteboard on my glue. Then I threw down a moving blanket. Threw a piece of 3/4 inch on top of that to help disperse the weight. Threw a little bit of weight on there. Can't really do anything with it till tomorrow. It's supposed to be a 24-hour glue up, 24 to 48-hour cure time. So I'm just gonna let that sit here. Go run some of our other little errands and chores. And we'll hang this thing tomorrow. Blinded by the lights. All right, we're back. Next day, been 24 hours. Our glue should be cured. I threw up some 2x6s underneath of it. We're just gonna cut it right to size. You'll see what I've done as a quick is just threw little painter's tape on the bottom of the saw. I don't know if it would scratch it up. I imagine it would scratch it up. It's metal, it's construction equipment. It's not kept exactly clean. But so then yeah, we're gonna cut this off. All right, and for hanging it up, what I'm gonna do is they make a French cleat. They make a French cleat type of system for holding up heavy mirrors. Just kind of slips in like that. You screw this piece on to the back. I'll put one on each side of the window so I can lift it up on and have it locked down over top and hold it in place. That way I can take it off and on as I please, let sun in sometimes, use it just as a whiteboard on the wall as other times. You wouldn't necessarily have to do that if you didn't add all the extra weight. So all you'd really have to do is you could use like construction adhesive or even double-sided sticky tape. They make some really good double-sided sticky tape like command strips, 3M stuff, and just stick it to the wall. Now, that won't work with ours because I backed ours with that MDF board. So I'm doing something heavier. These little French cleats, they're smaller than if I actually cut a wooden French cleat on the table saw, and they're rated for 200 pounds. I have window sills all the way around so I can anchor them right into the actual framing for the window frame, and it won't fall off at all. So that's what we're gonna hang it with. So we got our little French cleats screwed to the wall, got screwed to the back of our whiteboard, cut our 45s on our trim, did just a quick little brad staple on there, didn't even put glue, and then hung it up on the wall. Oh, we painted the trim. I think I showed you that. I don't remember if I showed you painting the trim. And then we hung it up on the wall. So here she is. Get a little bit of light comes in through the top, but it's actually missing that portion of the framing. I never put any OSB on when we did the whole wall. So there's a little bit of a gap there. This is something I'll have to fill in. But 5 foot by 4 foot whiteboard for just a fraction of the cost of what it would cost if you wanted to buy one. And it works great. So let me give you the little breakdown of it and the prices that were involved with it, just to sort of sum it all up in one spot so you can see. So for starters, I went to the Home Despot. I got me that 4x8 sheet of thrifty white panel board for $19.98. They'll cut it right there for you if it won't fit in your vehicle. I used a truck. I wanted it to be large, obviously, so it would cover my whole window. So I did a 5 foot by 3 foot section. That's not correct. So I did a 5 foot by 4 foot section. But as you know, I wasn't going to make the basic one. So then I had to run over to the Menards. And at Menards, I found me a 4x8 sheet of 1/2 inch MDF. Now this could completely change the price of your situation. You may not need this at all. In fact, that's okay. I'll wait. But since I'm not building the basic one, then I had to run over to the Menards. And at Menards, I picked me up a 4x8 sheet, 1/2 inch MDF. Now, this could completely change the budget. You probably don't even need this. I, however, since I was hanging this over the window, I didn't want to just use the eighth inch hardboard. So I would write on it and it would sponge into the window. That's where I got this sheet. Now, that is not what a sheet of that costs, $14.97. I went over to Menards because they have a little damage bin on the side. All the sheets that get maybe broken on a corner or it just can't be used properly or they feel they can't charge full price for. And those are flat prices, $14.97, $15.97, $17.97, maybe even $20.97. I suggest you go look there, especially for project stuff that you don't need to just buy all sheet panels for. So I got that piece for $14.97 and it was a full sheet. It was only damaged really in color and kind of smushed a little bit on the edges from the straps. It was obviously the top piece on the whole pallet, and so the straps had damaged some of the edges. Then I got me 4 pieces of 3/4 inch MDF outside corner trim. It might even look like that. $4.99 a piece. 6-inch steel mirror hangers. So with 2 of these are rated for like 100 pounds. We're not even close to 100 pounds, even with that MDF on there. So it's definitely overkill, but I didn't want to take the time to actually make me a French cleat system and try to hang it up around the window. And then it'd be the spacing away from the wall. This is almost flush mount, so I was happy to go with it. It was only $4.29. Yeah, I had to fix that one. It wasn't one. I got two, one for each side of the window. So 2 of them at $4.29 each. And then of course, because I didn't want my trim to just be white MDF, which it could be, not the end of the world, I got me a can of spray paint, the Rust-Oleum, satin finished granite that you saw, $5.98, and we got that construction adhesive for $5.59. So this brought my grand total to $70.77. Now, you might be saying, $70.77, that's double what you could have done it for. Why would you do that? I mean, I understand the wood and the smushing and the smashing, but at that, you might as well have just bought one. Incorrect, good sirs. I will show you why I was still happy to pay $70.77. Now, of course, if you don't want to go as fancy and you just simply want yourself a very large whiteboard for a very inexpensive price, you can just go to the Home Depot, get yourself that 4x8 sheet of white panel board for $19.98, get you 4 pieces of PVC cap molding at $2.73 a piece, and then the only other cost you would have is how you want to attach it to the wall. You could use double-sided tape. You could use a construction adhesive right to the wall. Might be slightly difficult if you don't have a way to hold it there. But you could even get some nice finish head washers and just screw it to the wall, depending on what your setting is. Garage, home, school, shop, even in the kitchen. So then you could make this whole entire thing for just $30.90. So as a quick recap, those are what they cost. Ridiculous. We've built ours for $70.77. You can build yours for as low as $30.90. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the comments button with the bells and ring them. But also remember, you can make excuses or you can make results. Go finish you up a nice project. Welcome back. Today we're going to find out if you can build this whiteboard for $30.90. Now I hear you say, but Professor, you're a gorgeous, genius man. You can do anything, so of course you can. But can I make the whiteboard for $30.90? Today we'll find out. Stick around.